Right. Good afternoon. The Cuyahoga County Finance and Budgeting Committee is now called to order. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
And just as a reminder to all who are in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county's YouTube page. Calling the roll, Ms. Turner,
Present.
Mr. Castleberry,
Here.
Mr. Gallagher, Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones is absent at the moment. Mr. Hauser,
Here.
Mr. Kelly,
Here.
Mr. Schlepper.
Here.
There is a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Is there any public comment?
No, Madam Chair, no one is signed in.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the April 28th, 2025 meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Madam Clerk, would you please call the first item?
Resolution number 2025-0177, authorizing payments to various providers in the total amount of $785,000 for said services and programs for the period ending 12/31/2025.
Afternoon.
Thank you. Oh, sorry. I'll start over. Good afternoon, Laura Black, County Council staff. On the agenda today are the awards from the Veteran Services Fund. The item reflects all of the dollars that are currently in the fund, which was established by Chapter 711 of the County Code for the purpose of providing services to veterans residing in Cuyahoga County. It includes all of the unspent money budgeted for the operations of the Veteran Services Commission, and the amount reflected in today's item is the overages from both fiscal years 2023, and 2024. The total balance of funds available was just under $1.7 million. Approximately $1.12 million of that was from 2024, and approximately $560,000 was from 2025. In March of this year, We posted a request for applications on the website, and we also reached out to all prior recipients of the award to alert them of the funding opportunity. We received applications from 6 organizations, including Tri-C, the Cuyahoga Land Bank, the Legal Aid Society of Cleveland, Joseph and Mary's Home, Towards Employment, and the United Way of Cleveland. Each of the applicants has received these funds historically with council's full support. So based on that, we did not have them come in to represent their programs. That said, we are going to give a brief overview of each. So Tri-C has requested $85,000 to help veterans afford tuition, complete their degrees and certifications, and secure family-sustaining careers. In addition to scholarships, this also supports their Center for Excellence of Veteran Student Success, which offers a number of opportunities for veterans, including tutoring, career planning, fast-track degrees, advising, and certification assistance. Secondly, the Land Bank has requested $100K to complete residential rehabilitation projects to provide accessible housing opportunities to the community's veterans. These programs will be done in coordination with partner organizations such as Ride with Valor, DNA Rising, and the Purple Heart Homes. Thirdly, Legal Aid has requested $200K to support the legal services provided to low-income veterans in Cuyahoga County. The organization anticipates handling approximately 300 cases on behalf of veterans with these funds, and their director, Colleen Cotter, is here if you have any additional questions. Joseph and Mary's Home has requested $100K to support medical respite care for medically fragile veterans experiencing homelessness in Cuyahoga County. The services will provide a gap between hospital and home for veterans who are unhoused and lack resources but need a safe place to recuperate following an injury, illness, or long-term treatment for diseases such as cancer. Towards Employment has requested $100,000 to support career pathways and services of veterans to support their economic mobility. The services include career assessments, career readiness, training, connections to credential training, and linkages to veteran-friendly employment opportunity. The organization also offers robust wraparound services for the veterans served. United Way has requested $100,000 for their Help to Vets program, which is a program specifically catered to veterans through their 211 hotline. The program connects veterans as well as active duty members and their family members to nonprofit and governmental health and human service agencies. The requested funds will support the salaries of their Help to Vets coordinator, navigator who assists veterans, and they also have a supervisor that partially assists this program. As well, it will cover some technology costs, marketing materials, and Lyft vouchers that will enable veterans to get to food banks, appointments, and other necessary locations. And United Way is also here if you have any other questions for that. Additionally, this resolution includes $100,000 that we are setting aside for a program to support training of service animals specifically catered to veterans. This came up in prior meetings, and we're going to set aside some funds to do that in partnership with the Cuyahoga County Animal Shelter. Additionally, given that council approves these awards, there would be a remaining balance of approximately $898,958, which is the amount you see in the resolution, or the legislation. Rather than simply hold the additional funds in the Veteran Services account, these unaccounted dollars will be transferred to the general fund. These dollars will offset costs associated to the capital expenses associated to the new Veterans Service Commission headquarters, which was and is a multi-million-dollar project. So with that said, if there are any questions, please let me know. Again, there are a few representatives from the organizations, and if there are any other questions, I'm happy to pass them along.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Ms. Black?
Ms. Chair, I just want, and it was just for clarification, with the United Way, the 211, I'm not real familiar with that, the number there. Could you just a brief explanation on what
So
that is.
211 itself is a central intake line for Health and Human Services information. So throughout the region, a number of partners have coordinated with the United Way they serve as an intake and then filter through that referral service. I would imagine, and again, I don't want to speak on behalf of United Way, that this piece is specific to veterans.
Councilman? Oh,
Hi, folks. I'm Jen Kahns. I'm with United Way of Greater Cleveland, and I'm here with my colleague who is our Help to Vets coordinator. So 211 is a hotline. We take calls. We get calls from every zip code in Cuyahoga County. People can call us from any time at any place, from any place at any time, to get information on health and human services. A lot of times people call us in a crisis. They need access to a pantry, utility support, housing assistance, but they can also call us and do calls for a myriad of other resources, including things like tax payments, home ownership, job training, and job placement, so kind of across the gamut. But we really make sure people find their way to the right place as quickly as possible to make the systems work as efficiently as they can.
Great, thank you. One follow-up, Ms. Chair. So that number can be called from landline, cell phone, anything that connects the veterans or someone in crisis right to you.
You got it. We
Great.
also have a chat, and then we ask everyone who calls if they are a veteran, and they get funneled to
Great.
Alex.
Thank you for clarification. That sounds great. Thank you.
all right, thank you. Councilman Kelly?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Would you explain one more time about almost $900,000 going back to the general fund?
Yes, so instead of holding that money just and keeping it there in abeyance until a future year, we do foresee that the funds will be replenished in future years from overages of 2025, 2026. So those funds will be transferred to the general fund.
For what use?
So yet to be determined, but again, the intent is to offset costs associated to the capital investment with the Veterans Services Commission.
So I'm against any money being taken from the veterans to go to a general fund when we're not going to know where that money for sure is going to be used.
Good afternoon, committee. Trevor Mackler, County Council staff. Just to provide a little bit more context to the near $900,000. So over the last couple years, as most of the council members, I think, remember, the county bought a building at the corner, I believe, of 40th and Chester, which is going to be the new home of the Veterans Services Commission. They're currently closer to the Wolstein Center. The county invested heavily into this new building on Chester. Over that time, I would say probably the last, I think, 3 awards for the Veteran Services Fund. The council has authorized some of the Veteran Services dollars to go towards either the purchase of or the build out of that building. Other funding sources that have taken place for that building over the last couple years came directly from the Veteran Services Commission annual budget or the general fund. So the thought behind this, considering the projected deficit that the 2025 general fund budget is under, was to replenish those general fund dollars that went towards the capital or purchase of the building that went directly to the Veteran Services Commission.
Do you have any follow-up, Councilman?
All right, I might be a little bit slow, but just repeat again about that money going to the general fund.
Yes, so I don't have a complete breakdown, Councilman, of how much over the course, but I think the budget to rehab the facility was close to $8.5 million, I believe. So that was comprised of prior Veteran Services leftover dollars, the general fund, and the Veteran Services Commission actual budget for calendar years, I believe, 23 and 24. And then there was the cost to purchase the building, which came out of leftover Veteran Services funds. So the intent here is to help offset the projected deficit, that this money would go back to replenish prior general fund dollars that went towards that building, either the cost or purchase of the building.
I still don't like money being taken away from the Veterans Fund. That's just my statement.
So, the balance is in excess. So we're not actually taking anything away.
So, no, so it's being transferred from the Veteran Services Fund back to the general fund, which is mechanically just for a better understanding of the flow of the dollars.
Right. And we won't know for some time how those dollars will be spent. They're just in the fund.
It'll just go back to the general fund, correct?
Madam Chair.
I yield for the council president.
So, Madam Chair, to Trevor, can you state with confidence that the amount of general fund money previously spent on the Veteran Services Building is more than the amount that's being transferred here? So that all of this money would be used to replenish the general fund for money that it spent on this particular purpose.
Council President, I'm pretty confident in that, but I think if our OBM director is willing to come up and see if he's as confident as I am in that, but I believe that is the case, yes.
Walter Parfiowitz from the Fiscal Office, the Office of Budget Management. I'm confident that it is, if that helps.
To Director Parfiowitz, could you get us an exact number and follow up with us?
Absolutely,
Thank you.
Councilman Miller.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Gallagher?
These funds, they're not restricted to programming?
So under Chapter 711 of the code, any leftover dollars on an annual basis is required to go to services for veterans. But if you authorize this would allow for it to be sent back to the general fund.
So being inartful, it's kind of a backdoor move to pay for the building that we bought and built out.
Correct. And we have used leftover veteran services funds in prior years for that same purpose.
I think, and again, I think the struggle that some of us are having is we just bought brand-new building for Board of Elections. Are they paying back anything to the general fund for the buy and the build back?
No, Councilman, but they are a fully funded general fund agency. So it is all general fund for that building, except on the Health and Human Services levy side.
I get it, but along with Councilman Kelly, I just have a real hard time taking money from services for veterans. I think this is unique. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, it's the only one in the state that takes the leftover dollars from the prior fiscal year for the Veteran Services Commission and deposits these dollars into a Veteran Services Fund. The other 87 counties, I will say, the leftover dollars do roll back into their county's general fund, and that's how it used to be here at the county until council passed this ordinance.
And that was a problem that council saw, and as much as I hate to give Mr. Greenspan credit for anything, that was his baby, and we love Dave. I think we're going against what the previous councils thought was important. I get it though, so I'm kind of in a gray area as to if we do this once, we can do it again, and that's a danger for me.
Councilman, I would say, I think that with the unique timing of this award, particularly with the recent purchase of the building and the build out, I think if there was a time to do it, I would recommend this time because they're going to be in this building for years to come. It's not a leased building. We own the building now. The county, right now they're currently under a lease. So I think this could be a unique one-time opportunity to accomplish both things here.
Councilman Kelly and then Schlepper.
Thank you. I just don't understand why that money is not going to go to direct services for the veterans. If there's money, it should go to the veterans for services. There's plenty of need out there.
I will note, though, we did this, pardon me, sorry. I will note that the 7 awards included in here are all applications received and in their full amount. So the transfer would not be removing any requested funds from any programs or services.
Schlepper's next.
Through the chair, just so I can educate myself, so this $898 or $898,958 amount will be going back to the general fund, is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, to understand it, I don't even know if it's technically even come out of the general fund, just how OBM and how we account for it. But yes, for an understanding of this, it would in essence be transferred out of the Veteran Services Fund back to the general fund.
Okay, so then in the midst of that, are those dollars then earmarked within the general fund for use back with Veteran Services and Veteran Affairs? Or are those dollars then open for any use in the general fund or to come out of the general fund in the future?
Councilman, I think considering the projected deficit that the county is currently facing in the general fund, right, this will help just offset that, knowing that we had previously funded general fund dollars for the capital and purchase of the building. More on the capital side, I believe the purchase of the building was all prior Veteran Service Commission dollars left over, but more on that build out side.
And then one real quick question on adjacent, but for item number 3 with the Legal Aid Society, that $200, are those legal services, any type of legal service? So if you're a vet and let's say you needed legal representation for something specific in your life, or maybe you needed to file taxes and needed an attorney, or are there specific tenants within that it falls under?
So again, legal aid is here, so I'll call Colleen up if she doesn't mind. But the Legal Aid Society does service low-income residents in Cuyahoga County, so these dollars would be reserved for low-income residents who are veterans. And that's what I believe they're civil in most instances, but I'll let Colleen explain that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Colleen Cotter, I'm Executive Director of the Legal Aid Society of Cleveland, and that is absolutely accurate. These funds will be used to support low-income veterans in civil matters. So we don't handle any criminal defense work, that is the Public Defender's Office, but what we do is about shelter, safety, and economic security. So I'll give you one example of a veteran that we've served in the last year, an 86-year-old veteran who had built up some resources over his long life after serving his country. And he came to us because he wanted to make sure that when he passed, his few resources in his home and some other things could go on to his family and wouldn't be lost in sort of the chaos that sometimes happens after someone passes. And so we worked with him to put together the documents to make sure that would happen and to give him the confidence that what he had built over his lifetime would not be lost. So that's just one example of the work that we do, but lots of eviction defense, foreclosure defense, access to public benefits, removing barriers to employment to help veterans in the civil world when they're back from serving our country.
Thank you so much. And I think it's important that people understand the work that you do too and your organization does, which is life-changing. So thank you for clarifying that.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Through the Council President.
To the chair and to my colleagues, I would just like to make everybody aware that not only did we not deny any applications for direct services, when we originally put out the requests and got the first round of applications, we had less than we have in front of us. We originally did not have the land bank application. But they've served us in the past. And so we proactively contacted them and told them that there's money available and we know that there's services that need to be provided, and we encouraged them to apply. we also took the general concept that Councilman Gallagher and Councilwoman Simon had talked about assisting veterans in getting companion animals, and it's never done before, and it's a totally new program, and it's kind of experimental and not totally fleshed out, but we put it in this program as well for 100,000. So I think that we've gone out of our way to find and determine the needs that are out there and fund them, and I think it is appropriate, given the county's current finances, that what's left over after making that comprehensive effort, that we allow it to reimburse the general fund for the money previously provided.
Council President, thank you for that clarification. Are there any, Councilman Gallagher?
Thank you, Mr. President, for that. I did, after we initially heard this, I did call over to Veterans Services, and I explained what was going on. I can't say that I got an idea of if they were for this or against this, but I did say, if you're for it or against it, you should contact us in some way or come to an open meeting before we do this. I haven't heard anything. Has anybody heard anything from the Veterans Commission at all on this? Because that would go a long way in me being on the side to approve what we're doing. Has anybody been contacted by them?
Councilman Trevor McClure again. No, we have not heard from John in particular, who's the executive director at the VSC, about these awards. Typically in the past, we have run the recommended awards past them. We did not do that this time, mainly because every awardee has already received prior year funding. So we knew that was supported from the VSC, but that is something that we can do before the next council meeting, before consideration. But I don't anticipate John having a problem with the recommended awards.
Well, he knew about it because I told him.
Okay.
And I told him to contact us one way or the other, or if they stay silent, I'll assume that's a yes.
Yeah, we didn't hear anything.
So I'm going to have to assume that they're okay with this.
And we have time, to Trevor's point, to follow up. Councilman Kelly?
So one of the commissioners is a friend of mine, and I asked him about this. He was going to tell his director. Apparently, nothing happened at that point. But I would like to hear from somebody from the Veterans Administration before taking $900,000 out of this and putting it in the general fund.
Okay, we can get that done.
Yes, yeah, we'll reach out to John.
Okay, any other questions? No? Okay. Separate issue, I mean, we're still here, but my question is about, did you mention there were 3 providers with number 2? Can you repeat who they were again?
Included in their application, and it did say, for example, so I'll say it's not an all-inclusive list, but it was Ride with Valor, DNA Rising, and Purple Hearts Homes.
And what was the scope of the work again? Are these rehabs or?
They are rehabs, so the rehab projects to provide accessible housing specifically to veterans.
Do we know what district they're in?
It did not mention that, but I'm sure we could figure that out.
Can you find that out for us? Okay, do we have any other providers here today? You heard from everyone? Okay. Well, if there are no further questions? Call the question. Is there a motion to move this forward for second reading? Sure.
Would it be possible to hold this till we hear from the Veterans Administration? Have another meeting?
Madam Chair, to Councilman Kelly, if we pass it only on second reading, we would have from now until June 10th, which would be a considerable time to hear a response back before final vote in council. That would be my preference, but if you're uncomfortable with it, I don't think it's going to make that much difference, and we could just hold it till the next. We do have finance and budget scheduled again in 2 weeks for the financial review, so we could hear it then.
Leave it up to to our chairwoman, what she wants to do.
Thank you so much. What say ye? Is everyone okay with us holding it? I am. Okay. So let's do some outreach, see if we can get the questions answered for the councilman, and we'll revisit this on June 2nd.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. Important questions. I think we all want to know the answers. All right. Madam Clerk, we'll move forward.
Resolution number 2025-0187, adopting the annual alternative tax budget for the year 2026.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Short presentation to go along with this. Walter Parfiowitz from the Fiscal Office presenting on the alternative tax budget for 2026. Ohio Revised Code, Section 5705.28 requires County Council to adopt the tax budget for 2026. The intent of the tax budget is to demonstrate the need for property taxes levied by the county and to establish the next fiscal year's revenue estimates. So this proposed budget includes 3 schedules. So I assume everyone has a copy of the presentation as well as the alternative tax budget, which, let me go back a page. This is the beginning of it. So it's signed by the county fiscal officer and then submitted to council as a proposal. So Schedule 1, this is considered Schedule 1, details 14.85 mills that will be levied and voted at an unvoted millage totaling $450.5 million. So as you can see from the schedule, it includes the 3.9 mills BODD levy, the 4.8 mills HHS levy, the 4.7 mills HHS levy, 1.1 mills of inside millage to support general fund, and 0.35 mills of inside millage to support general obligation debt service. This is the same schedule as from prior year, just the dollars on the far right column changed slightly. Otherwise, the schedule is unchanged. Schedule 2 is the official certificate of estimated resources for all funds. So we're recommending a county operating tax budget of just over $2.2 billion for 2026. You can see that total in the second column from the right. And then this is Schedule 3. The schedule details our general obligation debt service. So our debt service for 2026, as you can see, it includes 5 series, 2009B, 2019A, 2019B, 2020A, and 2020B general obligation bonds totaling just over $200 million. Again, this is the same schedules you have seen from prior years. There's really no change other than the debt keeps dropping as we pay it off. So what are our next steps? This is really a 3-step process. The first step is for council to adopt the alternative tax budget, which is what we're doing here today. Once it's adopted, we send the rates over to the Budget Commission for certification. Once the Budget Commission certifies the rates, they will return them back to us, and we will submit another resolution requesting that council accept the rates for next year. The process starts now, it ends around the end of September. So I will be before you again requesting that the rates be accepted in the future. Questions? This is a routine thing we do each year.
Routine required by the state every year.
Yes.
Any questions? Okay. Seems there are no questions. I'll move to adopt. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Okay.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
We'll see you on June 2nd.
I'm preparing now.
All right. Thank you. Is there any miscellaneous business? There is none. This meeting is adjourned.